I need help with a crossword puzzle. Are you interested in aiding me?
God, I've never been too good at them, but let's go for
I've
it.
propositioned you for a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever propositioned you for a crossword puzzle. But I would appreciate the help.
Okay.
So this clue is anyway. So 17 down, right? It's like a two-part or two words. If I say blank, you say blank, and the first blank is 9 across, and the second blank is 21 across, right? So we got to solve the other two. 9 across is a 7-letter word for firearm, double barrel blank is the clue.
Shotgun.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that fits. Okay, let me just write that down. Let's see. So 21 across is the other one that we need. 7 letters, matrimony.
What? Wedding?
Yes, that fits. Nice. Okay, so 17 down would be if I say 9 across and you say 21 across, it would be if I say shotgun, you say wedding. Shotgun wedding, boys will be boys. Yeah. These are going to be Panic at the Disco related until further notice.
And here we are with episode 20 of Reminiscent, the official Panic at the Disco podcast.
That's right. We're off. Blink-182 is for lame-os, dude. We're only into bands that started as Fall Out Boy cover bands. That's it.
It's a pretty tight-knit group there.
There's only so many songs there as I know, so this will end quickly, but I'm going to ride it out. How was your week? Or 2 weeks. We took a break last week.
We did. We had a week off, which we kind of talked about in episode, was it 18? And I was very not into the thought of taking a week off. And then when the time came, we we went for it.
You texted me, and I was very grateful. I was pretty tired myself.
Yeah.
I had just gotten back from a 4-day trip in which Jesse moved. We went to Albuquerque, had one last drinks with the crew.
Ooh.
And we put the cat in the car, which was a terrifying process. That thing is a very strong-willed creature. And though we have had moments of bonding, I didn't grow up with cats, and the moments in which the other 95% of the time. So like we tried to close the top of the box, and just her claw just reached out like onto the side of the box, like it's alive. Anyway, she was well behaved. She meowed a little bit in the car, but we made it to. We spent the first night after about 8 hours of driving in Norman, Oklahoma, which is about half an hour south of Oklahoma City, which is the home of the Sooners, Oklahoma University, or University of, I should say. That's where Jesse went, and we had been trying to behave because we all both needed to take shifts driving, but that night we kind of said, F it, and we got pretty drunk, and we went into the student library and wandered around, and there's like this one study room that looks pretty Hogwartsy, so that's pretty cool. And then we went and visited her parents and had some nice homemade meals, and near Fort Smith, Arkansas, is where she grew up, so it was a nice little road trip, I gotta say, not too bad.
How does it feel? I mean,
pretty good. She's been pretty busy for the last few weeks, moving on that end, tying things up at work, moving on this end. I think it'll hit her kind of what I was going through for these past few months, being in a new city myself, you know? She still had the friend group to help and hang out and pass time. And she's starting to be like, wow, this apartment's big, and I don't really know anybody, and I'm, she's not feeling as brave right now, I think. So I'll go down there this weekend, and we'll hang out, and kind of the job search begins now to try to get down there. So
for you to get down there, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, but it feels good, man. I think for a little while there, she was feeling a little like sad about leaving Albuquerque, but then it set in that kind of the job. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess. I think she's realizing now that, hell yeah, hell. Yeah. She had a really nice week with family and friends, and near her hometown. So it feels great, man. It's hard for me to focus a little bit on my end, just because when you can see so closely into the future, you're like, well, what if I just, I know I'm like still have a little bit of student debt and this and that, and what if I just quit my job and move down there? And, we talked about this a little last time, but sometimes my mind races a little quicker than what reality should dictate. But it's fun. It's nice to be on this stage, this end of it. How's work for you, man?
Dude, it's kicking my ass.
You sound tired lately. Well, you've been having to edit the other podcast too, though, at Astra.
Right, yeah, man, I worked. Today was a short day. We only worked 10 and a half hours. Right. So I got home. Right? Yeah, dude. So pretty much
I'm like Jazz just got off work and you just woke up from a nap, so I think we're slowly going to end up on the same wavelength by the end of this podcast.
Well, that's kind of how it always happens. The first 10 minutes, not to call it a throwaway, but we get into the groove, a little more positivity by the end of it. But yeah, I'm waking up. I literally woke up like 2 minutes before we hit record.
There you go.
Because, so I wake up at 4 a.m. I leave for work at 5, and I get home around 7 o'clock at night. And I got home a little earlier today, which is nice. But I had a show to edit, and that takes about 2 hours. So, whew. But the money theoretically is going to be very good.
That's very good.
Yeah, but it's like we're in this really bad storm right now. I learned that most of storms in the Denver area come from the northwest. And we just had a big rainstorm coming from the east, which it's kind of funny. They're like, oh, shit, it's coming from the east. And I was like, whoa, what's the east, right?
It's one of those.
Right. So, like, it comes through the plains of Colorado, and it's so flat, there's nothing to really calm it down. So then when it hits the mountains by Denver, it's like a sudden change in pressure, and it ends up just kind of swirling in place for a while. So we're going to have rain for like the next 2 weeks. And
cool.
And we can't
or
work.
Not cool. I don't know. This is wild, though.
Well, we can't work if it's raining because we work with electrical systems, right? So I've been on this kind of, oh man, my general anxiety levels have been quite low since I'm making okay money. But then when I thought
that sounds like a positive.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
My general anxiety is low. Good, cool.
So then I started thinking, man, if I'm working 60 hours a week, it's gonna be good for the bank account. I got a ton of things paid down, but then all of a sudden I'm wondering, am I gonna be working more than 20 hours a week the next couple weeks because the weather's been so bad?
Ebbs and flows, flows, crests and valleys, highs, lows. That's all I got.
So that's kind of been on the mind, and also I do not know how much longer I can sustain this schedule. I mean, being gone for 14 hours.
You might have
a
to
day.
hire an intern for the podcast network.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I started thinking like this job is. Hold on. I started thinking like this job is pretty great, but like, if they're gonna expect 60 hours a week from me, like, can I physically do it? Like, do I? Oh God, I haven't even said it out loud. Like, do I look for another job? Right,
man.
Yeah, because basically, if I'm working 60 hours a week, it's equivalent to making about $50,000 a year, which is kind of sad how little that is for how much work.
No, it's labor though, right? I mean,
right. So I'm thinking, dude, if I can just find a job for closer to that at 40 hours a week, like, do I jump?
Right, because it should be 60 with your podcast stuff, to be honest.
Yeah,
a 40-hour work week with,
So it's basically 80 hours a week with the podcast stuff. But
that's a lot of time.
It's a lot. And all that
That's 2 work weeks. That's
all
2
that
normal
just to
work weeks.
say I'm very tired.
It's almost like you should postpone everything else or something. I don't know. That's too much, right? Too much?
Well, I don't want to do that because so if I didn't want to do this podcast thing, I'd be stoked on that much work. But
right on.
I'm not the kind of like if my whole being is just to wake up and go to work and then come home and go to bed. Like I personally can't deal with that. Like I want to do something that's more
Sure.
something that represents me more. And right now the podcast network, that is who I am. And that's obviously is costing me a lot of money. So I can't just quit everything to do that.
Well, I think you got to take a picture of yourself in 5 years and in 10 years and wonder where certain ceilings are and where you want to, if, does that number grow with more work? Not necessarily. How much toll does that work take on your body in its prime?
Right.
How much, For me, in news, you're always going to be on call no matter what. The ceiling is not very high. There's, and the higher up you get, the more in tune you have to be. And, if there's a shooting or something, you got to be ready to rock, It's very rare do you get a stress-free vacation. And, the salaries aren't huge unless you make it to one of those few management type things. And
Right.
I don't know. It makes you wonder, perhaps, maybe going back to school or brushing up on marketing. Or I mean, in Cincinnati, there's a company called Procter & Gamble. I don't know if they do like Campbell's Soup but that's picture grocery store taglines. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a super 9 to 5, I don't know. I've never been in marketing, but definitely a little more structured work days, I'd imagine.
Right,
When
yeah.
you go home at Friday, you actually have 2 days to not, you know what I mean? Or just makes you, would it be less fulfilling? I don't know. I really don't. But I do think about, if I were to have a kid who needed braces, I've probably used that line before, but
Right.
that's not fucking cheap, man. I had braces. That shit was crazy. I even chewed gum on my way into the office one day. She was pissed. And my mom was too. She was like, what's even going on here? This is a fucking joke. Anyway. Yeah, so I think it's logical for you to at least question it for the moment, seeing as you're constantly exhausted.
Well, and what's funny is I thought that, and don't get me wrong, I love my job. I love the dudes that I work with.
Not to mention the first half of this podcast, or the episodes we've done so far, was based pretty much around you finding work in the first place.
Right. And I mean,
Right. Oh, how the tables have turned.
I feel, really lucky to have work and,
True.
they could have just laid a bunch of people off, but instead they found something for us to do. But just for fun, there's a company in Denver called Sounds True Media.
That sounds like a great place for you to work.
It's like the worst
I'm
name,
sorry for that.
I think. I think it's a terrible name, but it's like
it set itself up nice for that dynamite pun I just laid on you.
The company, they do...
For all I know, it's a fake company, and you just were asking for that to happen. What just transpired.
The company does podcasts and online courses, videos, and it's about personal growth and stuff, which is wow, that sounds like something I'd be into. So I looked to see if they had any job openings, and they have an opening for an audio engineer producing podcasts.
Oh my God. OMG's worth.
So I thought just for fun, I'd apply.
Sure.
But
I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec lately, so I'm going to lay a little absolutely on you. Go for it, my man.
I think that we've talked about this in the past. I have a degree in audio production.
Right.
I hesitate to
From the
call
Art
it
Institute in Washington.
It's terrible.
DC.
Piece of garbage school. But I kind of hate it. I don't really love engineering sessions for other people, and it seems like that's what the job is.
Yeah.
But also, I had a job offer fresh out of college doing something similar, and it only paid like $12 an hour, which is significantly less than I'm making now.
Got to start somewhere, though, especially if you're trying to build a career in a certain path,
Right. I mean, I can't. If I'm taking a job at $12 an hour, I'll have to work another full-time job just to pay my bills, and then I'm back where I am now.
Right.
Know what I mean? So
True. And as far as wickets go, this sounds like a particularly sticky one.
yeah.
I'm just full of bullshit tonight. Don't let me talk as much as
Well,
you
hey,
talk.
man. I'm feeling we're like 15 some minutes in, starting to wake up a little bit.
We are segueing pretty much into the main topic of the week. Is that what you're getting at?
No.
Oh, All right.
I wanted to tell you because I was going to last week and then we ended up skipping it. Two of my recommendations of the week, Moose Blood that you really liked, right?
Yes, that album was called Honey.
It was called Blush.
That's
and
what I said.
The
yeah,
song was called Honey.
I think if you play the tape back, I think it'll show that I said that. I loved it, dude. I thought it was great.
Right. So
Knuckles is a good hit.
Oh yeah.
But I think the first 6 tunes are strong, and there's probably 7 total.
Oh yeah, the
really
whole
strong.
album is great.
The one where he's like, "You're my favorite when you're smoking on the pavement and you got your collar up, talking too much." It's a good tune.
Oh yeah. So I had them, which you liked.
Is he British or Canadian or what's going on there?
British.
Oh, okay.
I had them, and I had a band called Boston Manor a couple weeks ago, and
right.
I saw them both live last Friday, and
the perfect show for you.
It was definitely in my top 5 best shows of all time.
What did it not beat? I'm guessing the time you saw Blink.
Okay, so Blink is up there. Angels and Airwaves with Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
Like 2 The Dangerous Summer shows. Really amazing band from Baltimore.
Just because you're into them, or it was a good show, or
all of the above. They're just the perfect band.
All right. But this comes right into the top 5. This one.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
In downtown Denver, or
yeah. So it was like my first show in Denver.
New to the scene.
I gotta tell you, I've been to I've toured a little bit, played shows in a bunch of cities, seen shows in a bunch of cities. This is, first of all, the venue was amazing. It was at a place called the Marquee Theater. The sound was impeccable. Sure. I feel like I might have been one of the older people there, which is sad to say. But dude, it was so much fun. The people there were so much fun. Living outside of Washington, D.C., a lot of bands didn't come through there. They would go to either Baltimore or Richmond. So I was traveling a lot to see bands that I liked. And at those places, it seemed like going to a concert was like a fashion show or something.
Okay.
But this was just dude, they were playing Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and Megan and I were just dancing. These 2 kids behind us, these 2 dudes, were belting the words at the top of their lungs, and everyone was just dancing and stuff, and it was
just good, clean fun.
Just a lot of fun, man. And the thing that I love about going to shows,
I feel like that's more rare the older you get. Just people having just a good time without trying to be too cool about it,
Right, just didn't care at all. And the thing that I love about going to shows, and specifically high energy pop punk shows, is I didn't know anyone in that room other than my girlfriend, and I was in the pit, and I kind of I as I've been getting older, I've been getting less and less physically involved in shows. I've just to kind of stand in the back and just cross my arms and enjoy the music.
I can't picture that at all, but
so I'm in the pit.
Well, you're a known maniac. I mean, right?
Well, I was last Friday. So
a mosh pit maniac.
So I was just in the pit, both arms in the air, eyes closed, spinning in circles, just allowed myself to be pushed wherever I was. And it was just like random dudes would just like grab your shoulders and like start screaming the lyrics, like the song in your face. And you just like people, like guys who don't know each other, just like hugging each other and jumping around. And I don't know, man. I needed it so badly.
Right. People just working some shit out.
It was great. And I felt like it was just a really positive, good time. And
it reminds me a little bit of, who would there have been a band at like a fire hall in Wattsburg or Waterford? And there would have been a push pit, and I would have lost a flip flop. It was, I think it was after I was out of the band, but you guys opened up for somebody, or was it Still Frame Sky that opened up
with
for
the AKAs?
The AKAs, yes.
Yeah, so
and it was the most delightful push pit. I lost a sandal like 3 feet to my left when the crowd shifted, and I just asked for it back, and someone handed it to me. It was like, oh, thank you. Yes, Ray John.
Right. Yeah, man. And, I was like, so I got to crowd surf to Leica, which I've wanted to forever. And like, I kind of, as I was, you don't really direct where you're going. And I ended up kind of crossing paths with this girl. We both kind of fell together because a crowd can't support that many people, right? And then another dude kind of fell near us, and like I'm trying to hold the girl up. This other dude on the other side has my leg, and like this dude in the crowd is trying to like keep our heads from hitting the ground. And like I kind of fell. The girl dropped her hat. Someone was like really quick to hand her hat back and help us up. And like everyone was like, "You okay? You okay? You okay? Okay, let's mosh." Like,
right, super considerate, efficient, not a lot of time or energy wasted.
And it was just, I don't know, man. I haven't had that much fun at a show since I was like maybe 19 or 20.
That's gotta feel nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you were kind of not living a very Denver-ish life for a little while there, as we've covered in previous episodes. I mean, you and Megan were saving up for this move, right? So there was a few years where you had to take a few L's, as the kids say. And I don't know what the that means, but you were saving up for a move, and now you're here, so you're allowed to enjoy it. That's good, man. That's great.
Yeah, it was fun, and I'm actually
and Leica sounds like a dope song to see live. I feel weird listening to it like at work or something, or where there's people around, because it's definitely got an early 2000s vibe to it. But it's just like, that's nothing close to what it sounds like.
It's wow.
That funk sound that whatever manner brings.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
But I'm actually going back to that place tomorrow to see Rookie of the Year.
Oh, nice. Don't you know those guys?
Yeah. So
they're still out there doing it, huh?
Yeah. It's like their first full band tour since I saw them in like 2008 or something.
They're still making money and
I guess so. I mean, they're doing like a couple month tour, and I've been watching Ryan, the singer's videos, and pretty packed, dude. Like,
wow,
it's pretty cool. They can pull,
because I don't remember them being that big back in the day.
When they were on top, I mean, they were on like a smaller or a medium size.
Were they ever on Fuse or anything?
Yeah, they were on like Fuse. They had a video on MTV. They toured with Goo Goo Dolls something.
Oh, that'll do it. Okay.
Like Reliant K.
Right.
So they were doing pretty well for themselves, man. But yeah, so I'm excited. I've seen them every time they come through DC, but it's mainly just been Ryan doing an acoustic act, and like I've recorded him down at his home in North Carolina, and he came up to DC to record with me, and have hung out every now and then. But I haven't seen their full band.
Didn't he invite you to tour with them once as the drummer or something?
Yeah, like, oh man. So yeah, the last time I saw a full band performance with them was like at the Summit in Erie in like 2008, and they were like hiring a drummer to tour. So I just went up to him. I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm graduating high school. I don't plan on going to college. I know all of your music, and I'm a pretty decent drummer for my age. So like, if you ever need a guy," I was like, "I know that you're, hiring a dude. Like, I'll join, dude. I'd be so happy to join Rookie." He's like, "Yeah, dude, give me your email. That'd be cool." And then like I don't know, 8 or 9 months goes by, and the day after I moved to DC to start college, I got an email from him. I still have it. He was like,
Ugh.
"Hey, dude, can you fly to New York? Or like, can we fly to New York City next week to shoot a video for MTV, and then we leave for tour like the next day for like 2 months?" And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, dude!" Like,
Oh man, the life of a musician, I guess, unplanned or.
yeah, but that would
How
have
often do you think about that email?
I think about it quite often, but I know that
Still.
shortly after that he did go solo, so it would have been a short-lived thing anyway, but man, it would have been fun.
Yeah, fly you to New York for a quick. You would have been on Fuse.
Also, another fun fact, he actually got me in touch with their original drummer because he was in the army, I think, and he was stationed not too far from my house. So like we ended up connecting on Facebook and hanging out a few times, and he like borrowed my drum set for a few months because I just had it in storage and he didn't have one. So I was like, man, like the drummer of Rookie of the Year, like my third favorite album, borrowed my drum set.
There you go. What's that album called?
The Goodnight Moon.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, it's so good. It actually came out April 12th, 2007. So we're getting up on I think we're like 2 weeks away from its 10-year anniversary, which seems crazy.
Whoa, that does seem crazy.
Like, I remember Adam Stolarski, the
Sophomore year of high school, that would have been or something.
yeah, like letting me borrow that album and like listening to it in my room, being like, it's not really for me. But then I listened to it like a month later and just fell in love with it.
Alrighty.
Well, one of my faves. But well,
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, so there's some positivity in there. I had a really good week.
Is Megan liking Denver?
Yeah, so she just started an internship with a place called the Open Media Foundation, doing like some film shoots and editing.
That's
Hoping
perfect.
that, yeah, dude, like her first day, she went and I think she did second camera for interviews with Iraqi refugees, and she said it was like people were just like holding back tears the whole time hearing their stories, and especially how relevant all of that is right now. Like these people were working for the US government and they were like double agents of sorts, and then ISIS found out about it and started like killing their families, so they had to flee to America. And I mean, these people are god heroes, and now their family is trying to get into America and they can't. And, you know, being called terrorists and this and that. And like,
Right. Like, thanks for the help, but no thanks or something.
yeah. So that was like her first day.
That's pretty telling behavior, I guess,
Yeah.
on the part of the person who would ask for the help and treat someone who helped them in that way.
Right.
Right. Oh, that's tough to hear, man. That's
Yeah, and you know, she wants to do documentary work, and that was a pretty intense thing. And now she's working on like editing for some stuff.
Well, if she wants to be a storyteller, those pretty important stories to be telling.
Exactly.
I don't want to oversimplify, but good for her. That sounds really nice.
Yeah. And she's kind of working like 6 days a week now with that. So we're both busy, man. I feel like I've hardly seen her in the past 2 weeks.
Active members of the community.
Yeah.
Titans of industry, one might say.
Man, yeah, so there's some good stuff. We can sorry to ruin the seamless transition, but man, if you're ready to
it's
dive
cool.
in.
I mean, it would have been like a totally flawless thing earlier, and now that it's not, it's cool. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. I don't know if you're new to the podcast, the chill's pretty vibe. No. Can you just cut all of it out? We're talking about money this week, and we probably a shortage of it, but we'll see as we delve into this. This all kind of kicked off. We were making our notes for the show. You could obviously tell that we do extensive notes and planning for this. And, you know, he was talking about bills and things like that, and I've been trying to get my things sorted since traveling to see Jesse for the past few months, and a little bit of credit card this, a little bit of student loan that, and I was waiting on my tax return. And for some reason, I decided to have it mailed a paper check. I don't know if I felt like a more... I know. Well, it comes back to bite me. Tom, okay, I didn't even tell you how it bit me.
Is it 1987, dude? Why?
Can I just fucking... Tom, you're...
Oh, Pat.
Just give me a fucking second to explain myself. God, I'm not even 30 seconds into the story.
I can't even take it anymore, though.
Okay, well, you don't even know why or how this was a bad decision, and you're just like... Anyway, so, like, things are pretty tight on my end. I don't want to get into it. It doesn't really fucking matter. I probably will get into it in the next 4 minutes anyhow. But I figured if I had the check, I could be like, at the time, the day it came, I could be like, I'll put this to this to this and this and this. Instead of it just going in one day, me noticing, and then being like, cool, I have this much money now. You know, like, I figured if I had it in my hands, I could see it, and then you budget it wisely and take care of my shit, right? That was sort of the thinking behind it. Okay?
No, I still hate it, but okay.
Okay, that's fine. Well, now, it was mailed February 14th because I did my taxes super quick. It is what? Almost April 1st? Nowhere to be found. I called the IRS and filed a claim, you know, because it hasn't arrived yet. I told them to resend it. And I called and I said, can you just do a direct deposit now? You know, I get it now. I'll never do this again. I swear to fucking God. And, but I guess you can't go back once you do it. So they're like, now, from this date forward, we'll try to get it to you in the next 6 weeks starting now.
Oh, jeez.
I know, because now they have to go see if anybody cashed it and this and that and why it got lost, because it was mailed to the address I'm at now. It just never showed up, right? So, yeah, apparently a small percentage of people even get them mailed anymore, and it's just, I was asking for lesson learned, I gotta say. But it would have been like a considerable amount of quiche, you know what I'm saying? It would have covered it would have made me a very comfortable man.
Oh, really?
I mean?
Yeah.
It would have like brought me pretty much out of the credit card stuff at least, which is back to reality. You know what I mean?
Very nice.
Because I only went into that doing the flights to Albuquerque. I just ran out of gas by the time it was the new year rolled around, you know? So I started going down, and I never really had a credit card before, so I got one and started, you know. I'm still learning my lessons, taking my lumps. I haven't gotten too outlandish with it, but...
Hey, well, you know, I can beep it out if you want, but out of curiosity, would you tell me how deep you're in?
Yeah, like, it's at, like, currently.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's...
The return would have been and, you know...
Okay.
We'll see. I think it was like the first 6 months or so was interest-free or whatever, so I'm getting to the end of that and getting this in a timely... And you know, between the fucking car, man, you know what I mean? It just seems like... I don't want to get a new car, but it seems like, you know, when I moved to Cleveland, that log in the middle of the road on Memorial Day weekend happened to, you know, fall off the truck in front of me and slam my whatever, and there's $600 here, and new brake pads there, and new this, you know, transmission fluid's going to have to get replaced soon, and just that next round of shit. And I want to be driving down to see Jesse, so I'm taking the bus this weekend, so I can give my car a break, and
oh, man.
You know, once the brakes start grinding, that's never good. But
oh, is that where you're at?
Yeah, that's why I was late to record today, because I'm going to do the bus thing for a week until I get the next paycheck and sort of see where I'm at, you know?
Okay.
Cut back on cost of gas, and I don't want to, I don't know, I had a tire go flat on me once, and now I'm crazy paranoid, so, you know, I just want to make sure that everything's aligned, and I want to get some stuff flushed once the check does come, but... Anywho, I'm just rambling, but it would have been nice to have that, you know, that money. Well, and I hate, you try to read all this stuff, you know, money's not the answer, this and that, but it really does bring a certain amount of comfort if you can just spend freely on awesome food and drink and entertainment. And like, you know, like, I'll just fly to Albuquerque and see Jesse and we'll drink the night away and, you know, it'll be my treat and this and that. And it feels good to be able to do certain things like that. But you don't feel as cool, or you don't people probably don't care, and I know Jesse wouldn't, but this weekend is definitely like, hey, any fun we've ever had, this will be a different kind of fun this week. You know what I mean? It's just like definitely a pizza. And we've done this weekend a million times before, but, it's definitely a homemade pizza or chicken dish with a few Netflix movies or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So back to reality a little bit. Because when we were doing distance, it was like, let's fucking do it. Like we saw each other in Dallas and had some fun and went to Austin one time.
Oh, just like ball out.
Yeah, her business is nobody, to be saying here, but she's going through a move and she's not exactly, because when you start a new job after the move, this, you have a few, just because you move there with a job doesn't mean you still have to wait maybe 2 weeks for a paycheck to come.
Right. If you're lucky.
The moving expenses, if your company does stuff like that. And, I remember I just felt like such a wiener. It's just weird. The mindset changes when you're flush and when you're not. I had to sheepishly walk into my, the human resource lady's office, like, just wondering when the moving expenses are going to get refunded. I,
right.
need to eat and stuff. So, like scraping the bottom of the peanut butter jar, just kind of like trying to make shit happen. But, it's not that dire necessarily, but I think I've talked about it on this podcast. I had to wait a little while to get a couch, wait a little while to get a bed, a long while to get a bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's definitely some humbling when it's not going well, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. I still owe a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah. How many credit cards do you have?
Well, I have two.
Okay.
There's one that was doing very well until I moved here. I've been doing balance transfers, which I know is kind of risky business, but I had 18 months of 0% interest with only like $1,400 on it. So I was going to pay $80 a month for a year and a half, pay that off, not worry about it. But over time, it's found its way up to like $3,000 because I was unemployed for 2 months and working for $10 an hour part-time for a month.
It's almost like I want to tell you to just keep this job you have now until you get everything back to zero or turn the clocks back or something.
Right. And
easier said than done though, because shit just happens, man.
I know. And I have like a very small credit card, like specifically for Guitar Center, which is like $300. I just paid off one item that was at 0% interest, and I'm like looking into buying an audio suite for editing the podcast, which is like another $300.
Right. You do have, your hobbies do involve more spending.
Yeah, for
perhaps
sure.
I don't want to say a normal person's, but audio equipment's not cheap by any means.
Well, no, and I get away with very little. And by little, I mean like a few $1,000s.
Right. Which to me, that's like, I would be back in the black with that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'd be back to saving technically,
Right.
Like not afraid to get letters from my dentist just in case the thing I have to do there costs extra than my insurance covers. You know what I mean? Like, you're just wiping the shit on my teeth, right? We're not doing anything hectic.
Right, but like, so if I'm working 60 hours a week, like I get paid weekly, which is kind of awesome.
That is.
My paycheck for 1 week would be about what my paycheck at 2 weeks at my last job was.
Oh, that's very nice.
And I had like a lot of money left over before I...
UPS or back in Virginia?
No, back in Virginia. My UPS paycheck was like $200 for a week.
Right.
But yeah, so like I had like a pretty good amount of money. So I owed PayPal like $290 from a banking error. I paid that off.
Okay.
I owed an old friend $100 for a bass guitar that I was going to buy off him, which I've had in my possession for like 2 years. So like I paid him off.
Zach owes me money for
for that bass.
No, I'm just kidding. I think there was an acoustic in there somewhere, but after a while, it was more his than mine anyhow. I did like that bass though.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I felt so bad for my parents. I think about this sometimes. It's in my rotation of shit that I just feel awful for when I'm going to bed or just living. And it's a really strange collection of things, but one of them on there, and this one isn't in the rotation quite as heavily. It's probably on the B or C rung. But they bought me a crate bass, back when we were playing music, you and I. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was new. It was in their price range for Christmas, right? And I think I was just the shittiest teen about it. I don't think I caused a scene. I just think I very sheepishly brought up, like, hey, I want to get a different one, though. Like, this
Right.
is like, how much can we get for the trade-in on this? And then I'll use some of my money. You know, just like,
Right.
I should have just kept it because it was a functioning... I don't know. It was weird being in a world where I felt like I would have gotten made fun of or something for having just a bright blue crate bass. And I went to World of Music in Erie and got like paid twice as much or maybe more to get like a used. Was it a?
It was a Mexican Fender jazz bass, and it was
Yeah, it was a Fender
beautiful.
Jazz with the wood finish. It really was. It had like a chunk out of the back.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what the hell happened, but it was a beautiful thing. Anyway, I always felt kind of strange about that. Anyway, Zach took it and he owes me $100. Just kidding.
But yeah, man, so I paid off those two things. In order to drive on the Air Force Base, you need to show proof of your vehicle registration. And I hadn't paid my personal property taxes from like last September. So they wouldn't provide me with a copy of my registration. So I had to pay that off.
Right.
And then I think I paid a little extra on my credit card. And dude, it felt damn good to get all that stuff taken care of.
Hell yeah.
But the problem is I still owe another $1,200 on student loans.
Oof.
Which they're going to sue me for April 9th if I don't pay it all off, which I can't. I don't have the money for it. So,
Yeah. Well, do you think they actually will?
oh, yeah, definitely.
What do you mean, like, sue you?
They basically,
If it's down to 1,200, that's not too bad, right? I mean,
it's pretty bad.
right, but I mean, like, it was at way higher to begin with, right?
Well, no, I mean, that's just like 2 months of payments.
Oh. So
Right,
you
no,
don't have like 1,200 left total.
No, I have like 97,000 left total.
Oh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. So my credit score is going to be garbage after next week.
Dude, how many years did you go to school, though?
4, dude. And so I've told you this before, too.
97?
I have a 12.1% interest rate. So
That's not good.
So I started paying
think.
my loans 6 months after I graduated. I've paid like $15,000 on my loans, and I now owe $600 more than when I started paying. So I kind of just don't want to pay anymore, right? I mean,
Does seem like an uphill battle.
all right.
If you don't mind me asking, like, did you get any help from Mama Bear and Papa Bear, or?
My mom co-signed on a loan.
Okay.
So if I don't pay,
I mean, like,
it comes down. But no, financially, no.
Okay. Well, then that would be awfully hard, I think.
Yeah. So it's I try not to even think about that anymore because
Sure.
it's going to be the next housing crisis, right? They give out these high interest rate loans to anyone who wants it.
Just
and
the
then,
kids, too,
And then
right?
people aren't going to pay it. So the whole thing's going to collapse.
So
and
if your
whatever.
mom's co-signed on that loan, that's going to be not pretty, maybe.
No, dude, I'm gonna try to take care of it, but I'm always gonna have that hanging over my head. Whatever, it's never gonna get any better.
No,
so,
you don't pay that off.
But yeah, dude. So like, I also have to register my car in Colorado, which is like $300. And when I got an oil change, they said that I won't pass without all new brake pads and rotors and this and that, which is like $600. So.
Wow.
Tack on another $1,000 just to get my car
Rotors,
legal.
dude. Fucking rotors.
I feel like every single year they get me for brake pads and rotors. And when I was in DC,
I haven't gotten a new brake pad since like 2014.
See, I don't get that, dude, because I am so gentle on my brakes just so I don't have to keep replacing them. And they get
So
me every
mine
year.
started grinding so I got the car in 2013. It started grinding maybe a year and a half later. So I got the front right brake pad removed or replaced or something, or rotor or whatever the fuck. and it was just one of them, right? And now, in 2017, it started grinding again, and I think it's probably the left one. I don't fucking know. But they've lasted probably longer than they should.
Wow. Well, I mean, mine aren't grinding.
Well,
But
probably grinding's the worst. Like, I should probably be getting them replaced with much more frequency.
right.
Says I don't even know if that's fucking true, though. I don't know shit about cars.
Dude, me neither, man. I really wish that I did, but I had a hookup in DC who would like never charge me labor or like charge me like $50 in labor and then give me all the parts at cost. So like to get 4 brand new tires and shocks and like installation and shipping, it was like $400 or something when it would have cost anyone else like
800
maybe over 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I broke a windshield. A part of a bridge in DC broke off and fell through my back window.
Did you sue the city?
I filed a claim and they said that it was my fault for parking under that bridge.
You should have lawyered up for real. You probably could have gotten a big payday for that.
I know, and I wish I did. But
You never mentioned that.
Yeah, dude. It was it's pretty dumb, but
Dude, you probably could have gotten like $30,000 or something.
no.
Yeah, dude. A fucking piece of a bridge. Was it concrete?
It was concrete. It was like the size of like a softball, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
maybe 8,000. Maybe
So
2.
It blew out my back window.
I'm picturing like a moon boulder just
No,
crushing the whole car.
Oh, dude, I would have. Yeah, I would have taken that for everything they had.
Yeah, that would have been.
But yeah,
that would have been a
so-
30,000er, says the non-lawyer who doesn't know shit about cars or law.
So like every glass company estimated me around like between $900 and $1,300. My buddy did it for $150. So like now that I'm in Denver and don't know anyone, I've never paid full price to have my car fixed, and I'm about to
it's
get
hellish.
I'm about to get real sad.
Well, I feel like when I first got to Albuquerque, I was just in that like fresh adulthood, know nothingness thing, which I think is how places like Jiffy Lube and Valvoline stay in business. Just like adults that don't know better yet. Like, hey, we'll flush the system. Just give us $150. It'll
Swap
run
out the
clean.
air in your tires.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you're it's like they pull out your fucking air. What is it called? I don't even fucking know. Like the air filter every time. Like, how's this look? I'm like, looks great, chief. Like, what the do you want me to? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, do you want me to pay $40 to replace it this time? No, I'm good. You know, it's like you have to buy 2 before you realize you're getting totally fucking shafted. And then they're like, yeah, we'll do the whole system. You know, well, it's like the fuel system tune-up. It's like $200, but it runs real smooth after it. You're like, after a few trips, not of doing it, but like you do it once and you're like, yeah, you know, I've never really heard of that one. You know, like, I get that there are going to be fixes that are at least 100, maybe a few $100, like tires or this or that, or transmission. My dad had a list that he gave me or whatever. I'm like, fuel system tune-up. Yeah, I did fall for it once. Like $200 just for them to like attach some clips onto some shit and hold a computer for 10 minutes or something. Yeah. Anyway, it's a weird trial and error thing, man.
But yeah, dude, I mean, just I don't even know where that came from. I'm just real sad.
The theme of the
real
week,
sad
money.
about money.
I want to lay some shit on just real quick.
Yeah.
I guess this is what I wanted to say. And I'm not saying it doesn't really matter, but house, right? Let's say a standard American wants to buy his potential wife an engagement ring, first of all, right?
Sure.
Throw the goddamn wedding, right? With, depending on your family situation, help from, I forget what the rules are, but whatever. It's fucking not cheap. A fucking house to maybe procreate, right? Or a condo or whatever the fuck, wherever you live. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. Car payments, right? Insurance. That's a lot of fucking money, man. Student loans, right?
Yeah, I mean, you basically need to make like 50 grand a year just to barely survive.
So, like, if I have 100,000, or if I had 1,000 in my savings, I'd feel like a fucking pimp, right? And that's not even what is that, a tenth of a down payment on a bad house in Cleveland?
Right.
And is that like, I don't know what the rules are for engagement rings, and I know it should be the meaningful, whatever. You want to get a nice thing if the lady deserves, whatever. I don't know. The rules are rules. You should get, let's just say, I don't fucking know how much, but it's probably more than what I just said in my dream savings account scenario, right? Which is less than anything else. Car is going to be what? A decent used car is at least $7,000, right?
Mine was 15, dude.
15. Yes, right? Okay, so that's... so what do you get? A decent car? Do you put that 15 on the house? A down payment for a house, I guess. And then what? If your credit card max is $2,000 or $3,000, is that how... should you just... it's like the new rule for engagement rings, like... get really close to maxing out your credit card with the one swipe, and then it's probably, like how much financial pain can you put yourself in with one swipe, and that might be this necessary sacrifice. I don't know. I'm just saying, where's this money supposed to be coming from, right?
Yeah, man.
We don't have any pensions. We're also supposed to be saving and
Right. I mean, right now...
what is there left to... I don't know.
Right now, there's no hope for me really saving too much.
97 is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is really crazy.
Yeah. And
I feel like you need to apply for a grant, like the "Please Stop Fucking Me" grant or something. Like,
I need to do something.
because it's almost like at this point, the more you put in, you're just prolonging the game almost.
Yeah. They're just because it's not going towards anything, and people keep saying like, "Oh, well, you pay off the interest first," and like, but no, that's
the thing is, they don't really coach you up in high school either. Like, all I know is my parents were like, "I know we did this with Katie, so my older sister,
right?
We don't want the subs. We want, I forget if unsubsidized or subsidized is better.
I have no idea."
You try to get as few of the whatevers as you can, and then you pay off the ones with the highest first if you can. And luckily, my parents were very generous in the way that I came out with like 20, 25-ish, right?
Nice, yeah.
Which was pretty manageable. And I feel lucky now. I feel like everything I just complained about, I feel like I could probably just shut the fuck up because this is... everything's fine, I guess. I don't know. It's getting down there. It'll be nice when that's all paid off. It'll feel strange. It'll probably be time to get a new car at that point, though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I don't even know what I wanted to. If we were supposed to come to some drastic realization at the end of this thing, maybe just be glad you don't have it worse. Or
it reminds me of when I was trying to get help with my student loans. I couldn't make a payment because they want like $650 a month for my private loans and then like $500 for my federal. And sorry, dude, I don't fucking have it. Like, you're not gonna get it. So I called this number. It was like, if you need help making a payment, call this number. We'll figure out the best way to help you. So I call the number. And they're like, okay, well, there are several options, but first we need to do like a debt counseling call, whatever you call it. So I'm on the phone with this lady for like 45 minutes, and she asks me about my job, all of my bills, my spending habits, how often do you go out for dinner, and all of this. And I mean, it was like legitimately 45 minutes of answering questions. And she's like, okay, give me 1 minute. I'm going to figure out the best plan of action, and I'll get back with you. And you hear the horrible music, and she comes back and she goes, okay, we have a solution.
Was the music this? La da da dee da 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 da.
Oh, God.
La da da dee da 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 da.
I wish it was.
Yeah, me too now, actually. Can we just play that song, and then we'll end the podcast?
But she comes on the phone and goes, okay, Mr. Kelly, we have a solution for you. You need to make more money.
Is that a direct quote?
Yeah. She's like, you need to make more money. You need a better job. I was like, okay, well, is there like anything else? Because that's, not really that easy. Like, can you lower
Sure.
my payments? Nope. You just gotta pay them. So you need a better job.
Did they use the phrase bootstraps and or pulling yourself up by them, etc.?
Have you ever heard the origin of that phrase?
No.
Okay,
But based on your tone, I'd love to.
so pulling yourself up by your bootstraps was, oh, I hope I don't murder this. It was a
Murder it like a rapper would murder a track.
right. So it was a sarcastic phrase used to encourage someone to try something that's impossible. Like, if you were to hold on to your bootstraps, try to physically pull yourself off of the ground by pulling them up, which is impossible. So it was like, oh yeah, how about you pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Like, it wasn't supposed to be like words of encouragement. It was supposed to be like talking shit on someone.
Right. Sounds like he's trying to pull himself up by his bootstraps. Dumbass.
Right.
Sounds like it'd be more like in that context.
And that's exactly what it was. So I think it's just such a perfect insult.
Tom, have you ever considered making more money?
Have you ever considered shutting the up?
Yeah, I was going to go with blowing it out your ass, but
right.
And
so I think that is kind of the theme of this, is just two millennials complaining about millennial problems.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I didn't even think about that, but it's totally going to come off that way.
And the Gen Xers giving us solutions that are total fucking bullshit.
No, Gen Xers are like, we're still cool, man. Like,
wait, baby boomers.
Cobain. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Boomers. Yeah, come on. Gen Xers are all right. They're just caught in the crossfire because they're like, we're like kind of older now, so we like get it. But like, I still have a couple of Nirvana t-shirts in my drawer, so it's like, What? But I don't think we're millennial, man. I really don't. I believe in Gen Y.
Okay.
Pre Hannah Montana, Disney Channel popularity.
Nirvana.
Post Cobain. Too young to appreciate Cobain when Nevermind dropped, right? And too old to be watching. Like, we might have caught a few episodes of That's So Raven, but we were definitely too old for Hannah Montana, the TV show.
Okay, let me let me tell some stories about both of those shows.
Yeah, okay, that actually sounds delightful. I would love to.
Do you you remember me, you, and Pat?
I am.
Or sorry, me, you, and Zach having a tickle fight on Zach's mom's bed while That's So Raven was playing in the background.
I do. It sounds nice. What grade would this have been?
9th or 10th grade.
Oh, I was going to say, please make sure it's less than 7. Yeah, that sounds right. It sounds like a blast, actually.
And I also vividly remember watching Hannah Montana with you because her brother, Jackson, was hilarious.
I remember appreciating iCarly a lot.
Oh, dude, I do love iCarly.
I was in college, so it was just like...
Do you love Jeanette McCurdy?
I want to say that I knew I was an older person appreciating a younger show at the time. Hannah Montana, were there laughs with Jackson? Sure. I couldn't remember, I couldn't name you an episode, right? Like with Scrubs,
me neither.
It's like, there's the Wizard of Oz episode, there's this, there's that. There's just stuff you grew up with. Hannah Montana was like, I don't know, I know my brother might be more associated. Like, so here's a good example. Picture the two twins that were in Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, right?
Sure.
My brother would say, yeah, they're the kids from Sweet Life and Zach and Cody. People our age might be like, well, we kind of associate them more with the Adam Sandler movie Big Daddy, where they both tag team to play the role of the kid.
No way. That was them?
Way. Yeah. So if you were asked that question, I mean, you and I would have seen them first in Big Daddy, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a gap. That's all. We're getting way off topic, but yes.
I just pulled up.
Sorry, yeah. I didn't mean to drop that. I forget their names. Bombshell on you about the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody dudes, but I know. Take all the time you need.
No, I was
You know, I was going back when I was trying to be funny or whatever. When I was lonely in Albuquerque when I first moved there and didn't have any friends. And I did a little bit of stand up. I was trying to a joke that never landed that I really wish it would have was like, I wish there was a social excuse. Like, if someone asked you, like, hey, can you help me move this weekend? You could be like, and you really are just in a bad mood from watching something like Sleepless in Seattle. Like, I don't know, man, I just watched a 90s Rob Reiner classic. I just need some time. You know, like as if it had been a family member death or something. Like, oh, you know what? I just watched that last week. I know what you mean, man. I know what you're going through. Just take all the time you need. Like, so I don't know, just cultural excuses. Like, you know what? Actually, I just watched Mulholland Drive and my mind's kind of fucked up. So I'm just not going to leave the house for a few days. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? Actually,
What?
this is something that I thought I wouldn't have a chance to bring up.
Okay.
I just finished the entire Gilmore Girls series yesterday.
Oh, yes. Let's make this. This was, I think, the last thing on the sheet, and I was wondering if we were going to get to it because it was a kind of just. But you also had The Office written. I'll let you do it. I'll let you.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. So these are the two things I'm trying to relate here.
Okay.
The guy that I carpool with to work every day, we were watching The Office. I think I showed you the cool setup that we had in my car. We would watch The Office on the way to the shop and on the way to jobs. Whoever was driving obviously would just be listening. But we crushed the entire series in not a significant amount of time. And I absolutely hated the series finale of it, the last episode. I thought it did the entire series a horrible disservice. And I just felt like it was one huge eye roll the entire time.
I think the last season or 2 seasons were an eye roll, and I don't think the finale can be blamed for the sins of an entire 2 seasons. I think the Michael lines were good enough to save the experience overall of just that episode.
Of the last episode?
Yes, what I'm saying is...
I thought he was terrible.
No, there's the line about him saying, like, you just love it when your kids grow up and marry each other, you know, or something like that. I thought that was funny. You know, he shows up and it's like, of course he's here. I thought it was fine. I think I was just sour by new Jim and new Dwight, and although the guy who plays new Dwight is very funny in other things, and there are a few good episodes, I just think the last 2 seasons didn't need to happen, and it was impossible for them to have a totally great finale because of that. But I think as far as finales go, they tied up some loose ends. They gave us the possibility of there being a Schrute Farms, not what's it called, knockoff show or
Spinoff.
Spinoff, right? Didn't end up happening, but I don't know. It served its purpose. It was I don't know. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it.
This is what killed me about it. And I'm going to relate it to Gilmore Girls here too.
Okay.
I thought
here. You know what? My chest. I'm not even going to say that. I just need you, wherever you lay it, you drop that steaming hot take down right now.
Okay, so I feel like there is a Goldilocks point between how Gilmore Girls ended and how The Office ended. Now, The Office was like, you know, Andy was going, like, doing the American Idol or whatever, and like he was like, oh, people think I'm the nerd or like the weird one, and then he goes
turns
outside
around and they're like,
it was, I thought that like gagged me, dude. It was so fucking stupid.
Oh, have a heart.
No, I hated it, man. I was just thinking like,
how can you sit through the last 2 seasons and then just judge the last one? The last 2 seasons were trash.
I don't think they were trash, but I don't like
They were
so Ed
trash.
Helms' character, I know that Ed Helms from like the very first episode he was in is like, he was talking about
The worst
personality
character?
mirroring, and he would just take on whatever personality Michael had to get on his good side, and then he just became exactly like him after he left, and that was kind of like, but I kind of allowed it because of that, you know, like his whole MO was just like be liked by him, so of course he would become exactly like him. I thought Plop and Dwight Jr. or whatever were okay. Toby got super creepy like throughout the whole ending. But the finale, I hated it. I wish I could forget it. I thought it was horrible. And when Michael
I think
comes
the
in,
last 2 seasons didn't need to happen.
Okay.
And because they happened, you can't even hold whatever ends up being the last episode accountable for any of those sins. And with that in mind, it already being not great, set up for failure, there was a few decent lines. There was an opportunity for a spinoff, and it tied it up with the little documentary episode we were all waiting for. Left a decent taste. But with that said, it was already not going to be a great finale because of how shitty and how it went on for way too long.
I think that it was too much of like a Hallmark ending. They wanted everything to be perfect. And
that's fair.
Everyone
I just think
everyone.
It's already a rung below because of how long the series went.
Okay.
So I think I'm agreeing with you in a way. I just view it through
Sure.
I wouldn't include it in my list of but the thing is, it's still one of the better shows. I think it's people our age just love it. Maybe everybody of every age just loves it, but probably the most rewatchable show ever. I just usually stop right around the time Andy goes down to get Aaron from that random house, and he like ends up shaving in the ocean or whatever.
Yeah, it got so weird.
Where he's like, pretty good for a heart map, though. I'm like, well, I don't mind Robert California. I don't mind Will Ferrell cameos, but it just loses me. I'm only good for about 5 or 6 seasons with that anymore.
Okay.
I'm going through Parks and Rec right now. It's kind of my...
Oh, that's what we moved on to.
My plan B.
But so for Gilmore Girls, Megan and I crushed the first 6 seasons. Like we got through it in a month and a half or something.
So you're saying finale pre-Netflix revival?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Because we watched the Netflix revival actually maybe the week that I moved to Denver, and it got a lot of criticism. We loved it. So, but I watched it off and on as it was airing, but I didn't remember a storyline at all. So we decided to go through, and it was actually a lot better than I remembered. And I was obsessed with it. And then when the last season came around, your criticism of it, I think, was that it was just really really dramatic and the really fast back and forth dialogue. And
I'm just regurgitating what I've read.
Sure.
An old female friend of mine really liked the show, so I'm familiar with the characters enough. I tried watching the Netflix revival.
Right.
Don't take anything I say about it for anything, because I just don't really like the show that much, and but I get other people do for whatever reasons. It's cleverly written, etc. So I'm going to bow out from this one.
Okay.
If I have commented on it on a prior episode, I take it all back. It's just, it is what it is. Not for me, I guess.
All right. Well, what I'll say is that the criticisms that I usually hear from it are usually only really relevant, I think, to that last season. And right around the last season, we really slowed down with how much we were watching it, and it almost seemed like homework to get through the last season.
Yeah, dude, you can tell as it's happening.
Right.
The episode, the first time it isn't when you're in a binge. I'm going back through Parks and Rec right now. It's maybe around 3 or 4. You get into that binge where Ben and what's his face show up, and you're just like, oh, these characters are so great. I love them all.
Right.
And you just click, next. And it's you don't think about it. When I was watching Shameless, and at the end of season 4 maybe, but the season that begins with Frank needing a new heart, I just was I could feel the moment. I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this. You know what I mean? To me, the story's over. To me, that's where I want to see it end almost. It's
right.
just, I don't want the young kids start to grow, the young actors, I don't know. I'm going off of my own soapbox. I'm cutting you off.
No. So that was kind of happening, but I liked that. What I did like about the last season is that Rory, who's the perfect girl, things start to kind of go south for her, and things aren't quite lining up, and it's oh wow, so relatable, right? And I don't mean that sarcastically, it is. But the last episode, it was so casual. They knew that it was the series finale. They knew that the show
casual,
was done.
we used the word in junior high?
No, I mean, if I didn't read in the description that it was the series finale, I probably would have wondered what the next episode is going to be about. Like, it was just
too far in the other direction.
Kind of, yeah. I feel like
you wanted a little bit of Hallmark.
I feel like nothing was really tied off, and not that I need it tied off, but like,
what happened? Did she end up with a guy or something? Or
no, it's just she graduated college and wasn't really getting the jobs that she wanted, and then it just kind of ended.
Maybe they didn't want it to end. When the Netflix revival happened, was it billed as the revival everyone had been waiting for? Or?
I'm not sure. I don't really know if anyone was quite asking for it, but we started watching that again too. But I'll tell you what, man. Again? I'll tell you what. It's weird how you connect with TV characters, because I feel like I miss them, like they were friends or something, you know?
Dude, I hear you. There's something about. Well, there's a lot of lines in Parks and Rec that I like very much. There's something about when Donna is like, Andy, you're fine, but you're simple. And I'm like, oh, you guys.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just like, I forgot Donna's a fucking baller, and she might be one. I don't know. It's weird when you watch different times and different people are your heroes each round, because you know how the arc goes, so you can appreciate what they're doing at the time all that more. Like, the second time I watched The Office, Creed was my hero, because I was like,
oh my God, yes.
This dude is the fucking funniest, and it was just so low-key in the middle, right in the middle. But the third time around, I think I kind of started, well, I mean, you burn out on the Jim and Pam stuff the first time around.
Right,
awesome, right? So you just, it's kind of like loving a band for so long. You're like, no, Pinkerton's better than Blue, and you're like, you're just fucking high on your own bullshit. I'm a big, anyway, Weezer for life. Holla. No, but I had read a little bit about Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak's careers at that point, and they had both come out with books, and they had dated at one point and broke up, and they were writing and directing their first episodes in TV, major TV, I think, at the time it was going on. So I was like watching more for those storylines and how clever those jokes were, and I really thought Ryan and Kelly were the best the third time I watched it, and I don't know. Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, you kind of feel connected to these fictional, I don't know. But we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, like rules for moving to a new city is watching some of the stuff you've already consumed before. It's like a comfort zone. Maybe it's because you connect with the people in the show. I'm not sure, but
yeah. Anyhow. I mean, I do not like Donna's character in Parks and Rec. I kind of hate any time she opens her mouth.
Oh.
And I know that's
I
know
man.
that's
She's
an unpopular
awesome.
opinion.
Yeah.
But hey, man.
She's no Creed for sure, but I mean, just like, when she's part of the treat show self, she's just like low-key balling out. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's like, I was thinking about this, like this, from a sociological standpoint. Like some of the stuff when they're like ribbing each other for stuff, and you know, Jerry obviously gets made fun of the most,
oh my God,
but it's easy to get it's easy to get Tom worked up about something, right? Tom Haverford. But Donna is just like always just like, it's almost like, how does she pull off just never getting worked up and no one can get her goat? You know what I mean? It's just like,
except for when they like smash the windshield of her Cadillac or something.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, somebody f***ed with her car. Yeah, okay, that's right. But it was just interesting. Always so calm, cool, and collected, like very content in the moment. Like, she's not going to speak up first. You know, if there's like ever like a trying moment in the office, like she's like, no, I'm going to revel in this silence with everybody else or something. You know, it's just like, just part of the team, unsuspecting a little bit. I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't vibe her, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the point where I kind of just got to go to bed.
Yeah, you got to go to bed, and I haven't listened to your shit. Have you listened to mine?
Yeah, I did. So,
well, this was 2 weeks coming, so you owed me anyhow.
John. The song that I forgot to listen to 3 weeks in a row, listened to it like 3 times on the way home today. Yeah, it was good. I mean,
was it Claustrophobe?
Claustrophobe by Laura Stevenson.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Laura Stevenson.
It's okay. I mean,
There's probably like a few dozen songs that start off in a similar way than that one, and I love them all. I can't list them right now, but I don't know. I liked it.
And then I watched what was it, Pennsylvania by the
on the Kroll show
or whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's good as hell.
I thought that it was really funny, but the humor for me didn't come from the Pennsylvania talk.
Okay.
I just thought it was funny, just like even if they just spoke in like normal whatever dialects.
Okay.
I just
see when he puts down the
hilarious.
Yingling or the Icy Light or whatever, the Pittsburgh guy, and he's like licks his lip a little bit at the beginning of the first one, and he's just like, "Oh, that's good as hell." Like, and then Nick Kroll comes over and he's like, "I actually don't even start feeling anything until about 6, dude. It's no big deal." Like, I don't know. It's just it's bag toss. It's cornhole. Oh. I don't know. It's like, yeah, don't mention any Dolphins around here, man. Although Dan Marino did go to Central Catholic. Not bad. My mom is from Greensburg and from the Pittsburgh area, and, she says pal sometimes, like instead of pile. Like, I definitely have cousins that have that Pittsburgh twang. So
Right.
For some reason, it just fucking slays me. Just from the minute he sets that beer down and says, "Oh, that's good as hell." It just fucking, it just kills me, man. Pennsylvania Kroll show. If you didn't listen to the last time I recommended it, it's just utterly brilliant.
It was pretty funny.
Well, I'm glad you at least enjoyed it. I feel like I've been whiffing on music recommendations for you lately, so I'm glad you at least found enjoyment.
So for this week, and then I guess we'll do highlight of the week. A little out of order, but whatever. There are no rules.
Good.
The police.
Good.
Do you have anything this week?
Do you have one?
I do.
Go first while I look up Spotify real quick.
Okay, so there's a band called Marian, and they're kind of like electronic pop dancey kind of stuff. And there's a song called I Want You, and I just cannot take it off of repeat. I actually started writing a cover for it because I thought it would be awesome as like a pop punk song. And
Nice.
I'm buying tickets to see them in Denver. I'm buying them this weekend. They're playing in like June. It's just, man, I'm just falling in love with their music. It's just a guy and a girl. Their music videos are fucking works of art, dude. Like
Marian Hill.
Marian Hill. They'll be in the show notes.
And then the other one from the last week was Air Combat.
Yeah, it's the trigger warning. Falling on Deaf Ears was the first song on that album.
Trigger something.
So, yeah, so they'll be in the show notes. If you go to either in your podcast player, they'll be there, or if you go to elemental.fm/reminiscent/20, because this is our 20th episode. That's crazy.
How'd the last one go over? It was just one of our tests we put out there?
Yeah, it was like the Nickelback conversation we had, and I thought it was hilarious.
I say
dude.
like, that one got racy.
No, it was a good one.
Those takes were so hot.
It was a good one. Work was canceled on Friday, so I had some time to get that out.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so this band, dude, just watch all of their music videos. They're so good. And this I Want You one is like, it's like one take. It's like a choreographed dance group, and they kind of come in and out of frame. It's really, really, really cool, super catchy. Love the girl's voice. The music is awesome. The melody is killer. And I'm going to write a cover of it at some point. I'm going to finish it anyways.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I look forward to enjoying it with you and discussing about it. Oh, I liked Over Before It Began by Joyce Manor.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, that was from a couple weeks ago. We've taken so much time off, I forget which one we were suggesting.
So much time. It was 1 week.
Well, I missed you.
It feels like forever, though, to be honest.
Yeah, stop in the name of love before you break my heart already. Jeez, I missed you. Which might be the song I have to choose because I have not been listening to much new shit lately.
Give me your favorite Weezer song because I only really know the singles.
Oh, well, you know what? I did try to make a set list without using a song from Blue, just for fun the other day, because I have a healthy mental state.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there like drinking wine, like, would that be the opener, or would they save that one for? I do that sometimes, and I'm a cool person. Deal with it, I guess. No, I have like a list that I want to hear them sing, but they just fucking choose not to, so fuck them. I'm gonna say, Chance the Rapper's been in the news lately, right? You know that Chance the Rapper?
I've seen his name.
Yeah, he donated $1 million to the Chicago public schools recently, where he's from.
Cool.
Putting his money where his mouth is, bringing up, as T.I. would say, all you ever did was something about giving back to the hood, and he did, and the other people's didn't, and you got to be grateful from where you're from. I've fucking butchered that. Anyway, a little experiment, or should I say social experiment, with Donnie Trumpet. I don't know if that's his nickname or there is a Donnie Trumpet, but it's a tune called Sunday Candy. It came out like a year or 2 years ago. It's a pretty happy-go-lucky jam, and it would be a perfect vibe in the background of our highlights of the week, because it is just a feel-good little tune.
Okay.
It's not new, though. I don't have as much new shit like you do.
I really don't much either, to be honest. I feel like I try for this, but I'm...
Well, the thing is, I was getting Rolling Stones for like a year there, but then the subscription ran out. So I was just basically ripping off their suggestions. I'd listen to all the stuff they want landed, and then the one thing I liked of the 7 things on the page I'd bring to here. So basically that well's gone dry. So, but to pick one Weezer song, Tom, are you fucking high? You're out of your god. We'll have to do a Weezer episode where I just talk and you sit there and cry or something.
Sure, I'll talk about the 3 songs our old band used to cover.
You know what, though? I was so pissed the other day because the song Say It Ain't So, you and Zach used to make fun of the way Rivers was like, Jimmy!
Right.
Wrestle with Jimmy. I was listening to some song that I know you liked, or it might have been Angels and Airways or something, and I was just like, they got no room. I forget. I wish I remembered what it was. I was just like, those little junior high motherfuckers with not knowing what they're talking about, making fun of Blue. Oh, my God. I don't know why that really upset me so much. I was like, you don't even know. This is Blue we're talking about.
I just thought it was funny. I mean, God, I love Tom DeLonge. I have no room to talk about weird pronunciations.
And yet, now that I think about it, talking to you now, it's just you and me talking. I have no idea why I was so fucking pissed off about it. I was just like, hey, bite your tongue.
No, I do remember Zach and I down in my basement just yelling, Jimmy!
Yeah. Oh, yes. It was, anyway, we had fun. But perhaps it is time for you to retire?
Highlight of the week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Money aside, I get to see Jessie again. She's here. She's in Ohio. Yeah.
It's right
happening.
now she is?
Yeah, man. She's unpacking this week.
I thought you said she was like staying with her parents for a couple weeks.
Yeah, or a week. It's gone now. She's in Ohio. I'm taking a bus down there this weekend, and we are going to, probably not do much, but it'll be nice to see her.
Awesome, man. That's like highlight of the life.
Yeah, it's good, man. I was listening back to an episode where I was describing her about to take the move, and I must have been so tired that day because I sounded like scared to still be dating her or something. Like I was like, oh man, if she ever heard this, she'd probably be like, oh, that. But I am floored, man. I miss her a great deal always, and it's fucking great. Yeah, I won't gush too much longer, but yeah, I don't know. When you figure out a certain problem and you find an answer to it or whatever, and then you're apart from it, you're like, no, I want that back, man.
Yeah,
like I had something good there for sure, and the more I'm around her, things tend to seem better. So.
That's awesome.
It is a very good thing. That is my highlight of the week.
Awesome, man. Mine was probably just the Moose Blood show.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it was another thing I experienced that helped me feel more a part of the city. It's not
Yeah,
like
your
I'm,
stories from the mountain time zone have gotten a lot more like fun and communal based lately, which makes me feel good for you.
yeah, man. I'm trying. Like, we ended up breaking down, and our whole crew at work, we call ourselves the Solar Daddies.
I love it.
We're all Facebook friends now, and I tried to avoid that just because.
The nudes.
Well, we've had the conversation about work Tom versus, Facebook Tom versus like the real Tom, right? I mean, it's like
Hannah
three
Montana
different.
tickle fight, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. It's like three different people, and actually, I would love to talk about your Facebook personas, because I feel like we're probably very different on that as well too.
I rarely post.
Exactly.
Mostly because it's my job. We can get into that next week or something.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Social media behavior. Yeah, we'll do that next.
So I tried to like avoid it, but now it's like, dude, they're my friends, and
Yeah.
it's cool. But yeah, so just that.
Leave some bullets in the gun, Tom. We're trying to run a show here.
So yeah, man, just going to the show, being around fun people. We found out this place perfect for a pop punk show. They also sold pizza, but they had an amazing vegan pizza, and might make some trips up there for pizza, man. It's I'm going
Sounds
tomorrow
great.
actually, so yeah.
Pizza is fucking dope.
So
Well, I'm happy for
there
you.
you go.
I'm
Happy for you.
Moving to a new town. Thanks. Moving to a new town is fucking hard, man. And you guys have earned. You've been there for several months, and now you're going to bars with friends and going to shows that you like and having. You deserve everything you've earned. You've been working hard for it, so good shit. You should be earning and deserving sleep currently at this moment, though. I feel bad for keeping you up this late, but
It's all right, man. I'll get 4 hours tonight, and then
work a smooth 16 after that.
right, and then I'll maybe sleep an hour in the car. But yeah, dude, I got the next 2 days. I'm gonna go to a show tomorrow night, be up late, and then I have to edit this show Thursday night for Friday, so I'll be up pretty late all week. Actually, but
Well.
hey, there's a possibility that work will be canceled tomorrow because of rain and snow. I'm kind of secretly hoping that it is. So man, I might be good to go.
Oh, I'm glad we did this then. You almost slept through it.
I did, man. I was literally, my face was on my phone, and you texted and called, I think, and I just
Yeah, I called once. I didn't want to push the issue. I just turned on an episode of Parks and Rec. I was ready to start my end of the night process.
oh, Pat, you gotta push the issue, man.
Yeah, but you look so tired. I don't know, man. I've been in that spot where you're just like, dude, I wish, but I made a judgment call. I was going to let you sleep.
Well, I just do. I feel anxious that I can't sustain everything.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I'm not going to stop doing the podcast, but I don't know. I might throw like if I
Even just like attending weddings in the fall and this and that and that. And then like one wedding, you're just, for whatever reason, invited to the fucking, I don't know. It's not important.
What?
There's just like, I don't know. We can talk about it next week, maybe. Just like, there's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for all the people that have ever been nice to me. But can you just shut down? I don't know, like, part of me just wants to be like, I just need a month to like not do fucking anything and get back to the bank account stuff, and just when I come out of the coma, we'll restart. I just feel like you're pulled a little bit in too many different directions, and it's haunting. But we can talk about that next week.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. Love you, man.
I love you too, dude. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.